Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. I'm so excited to have with us today the author of The Proven Path from Blank Page to 10,000 Copies Sold, 7 times best-selling author and CEO of Self-Publishing School and selfpublishing.com. He knows exactly how instrumental writing books can be in sharing your message and even growing and scaling your business. His message is that you can't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time to get writing is now. Please welcome to the show, Chandler Bolt.
Hey, Lisa, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. I want to talk about being unstoppable in business and how important is it to have a book if we want to be unstoppable in these uncertain times.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most important things that you can do to grow your business and to bring leverage to what you're doing. And I think that's the beautiful thing about a book is you do the hard work to create that book once, and then that book goes on to impact thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of people. I call it leveraged impact, right? So you leverage the impact that you're trying to make through the power of a book. And then if you do it strategically, I think it can be one of the best things you ever do to grow your business, and specifically to get more leads, sales, and referrals for your business.
Wow. Well, I want to know, as it pertains to you, more specifically, how have you used books to grow Self-Publishing School?
Yeah, it's been a huge part of Self-Publishing School. So I've written a few books myself, and the first version of my new book published. So I just released the second edition of this book published in December. But the first edition, I mean, that book has been downloaded and purchased hundreds of thousands of times, has generated millions of dollars in revenue for Self-Publishing School over about maybe 5-6 years since I published the first edition. It's been a primary driver. People buy the book, they read the book, they book a call with my team, and then sign up for Self-Publishing School. And so I think it's it's kind of like a virtual introduction. I call a book a silent salesman. I mean, without me saying a word, the book is speaking, it's educating, it's teaching people our process, and it's bringing back lead sales and referrals. So it's just so powerful. It's been a key part of our growth and of us building the business. And I think it can be for a lot of other people, just a key part of what they do to grow their businesses.
Wow. And weren't you like under 30, like doing all this at such a young age?
Yeah. It was, I just got 30 under 30 this past year.
Wow.
It was a big honor, and I was running out of time.
Congratulations. You made it. Well,
yeah.
How do we choose what idea to write about if we have too many ideas? How can you help our audience with that?
Yeah, so there's probably people listening. They're probably in one of 3 camps. So there's I don't have an idea yet, so I'm not quite sure. I have an idea that I'm clear on, and then the third bucket is exactly what you just said, which is, hey, I've got too many ideas. So if people have too many ideas, I encourage you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Question number 1 is, which one can I finish the fastest?
Right.
So maybe you have the most content or life experience on that topic. Question number 2, which one are you most likely to finish? So not only are you going to get it started, but you're going to take it to the finish line. And then question number 3 is, which one is going to make you happy? Right. So I would encourage you, if you're thinking, hey, I've got too many ideas, ask those 3 questions and try and narrow in on one idea. We've only got 2 rules when we work with people. Rule number 1 is that you can't edit while you write.
Wow.
We all know someone who has 5 perfectly written chapters in their unfinished book.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't edit while you write. But then rule number 2 is you can't write more than 1 book at a time. So a lot of people think they're the exception to this rule. I promise you're not. you need to pick one book and write that book first, and you can kind of narrow in using those 3 questions.
Well, that's good for all of us ADD people out there.
I'm with
Like
you.
I'm a
Yeah.
multitasker. So isn't it, what percentage of the population would you say has a book in them somewhere that they've been thinking about writing?
The New York Times says it's 81% of people want to write a book. We know that less than 1% of people actually do it. So I think deep down inside, a lot of people, they say, I've thought about this. Maybe someone's told me I should do this. And whether it's for your business, whether it's a part of your legacy, for your kids, for your grandkids, like I think a lot of people have a book inside them. It's just a matter of, will they do the hard work it takes to get it out there?
Yeah,
right? And will they,
it does
the
take hard
discipline,
work.
the commitment, and taking the leap. Yeah, as you've seen.
Everybody in life knows that, it takes hard work to accomplish anything you want in life. And so is it important too, when you're writing your book, to think about the back end in the book? Like also too, like if I write this book, is it going to have a business end?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to, right? For some people, they say, hey, the book is the end. And it's kind of like, that's the thing that I want, that's going to just, that's going to be part of my legacy. That's going to be part of this whole thing. And so that for some people, like this is for me with my first book, is I didn't see anything past the book.
Wow.
And that's totally fine, because I think sometimes if there's so much pressure for there to be all these things beyond the book, it actually kind of can kill the creativity and the fun. And there's a mountain of expectations. Right. And so I would say, there's certainly, if there can be, and if it's an automatic fit with your business, of course, like you should do that and write the book that's going to help generate the most revenue for your business, if that's an option. And because I mean, that's going to be one of the best things you can do to grow your business. But if not, that's totally fine. The book in itself can be kind of a magical endpoint and goal to accomplish.
I love that. I hope you guys are taking some great notes here. I have another question for you. How can we write a great book in a short amount of time?
Yeah. So I recommend following what I call the more writing method. I laid this out in my new book. So kind of there's 8 milestones when you're writing a book. So 8 overarching milestones. The first 4 are what I call the more writing method. Right. And so it's mind map, outline, rough draft, and editing. And so mind map everything that you can think of on this book, turn that mind map into an outline for the book, and then use that outline to write the rough drafts. That's the most important thing, is to get that rough draft done. Then you're going to start to see the light at the end of the tunnel and believe that this is possible in a really major way. So follow the more writing method, and that can help people make consistent or quick progress, but also consistent progress.
Okay, so mind map first, just take a brain dump of like what the overarching concept is going to be.
Yeah, so if we narrowed in on that one idea earlier, what I recommend is people grab a blank sheet of paper, put your topic in the middle of the page, set a timer for 15 minutes. As soon as you're done listening to this, put 15 minutes on the clock, write out everything that you can think of on that topic. So stories that you have, lessons that you've learned, books that you've read, ideas that you have, everything you can think of on that topic, write it out onto the page. And then once you get to the end of that exercise, you're going to start to see groups of ideas or themes start to bubble up. Those groups, you can order them in the order that you want to cover them. In the book, drill down about 3 chapters per section, let's call it. Now all of a sudden you've got about a 15-chapter outline that you can use to write the book 1 chapter at a time.
Oh my gosh, that is so great the way you break it down. I hope you guys are out there like going to plan to do this. So I want to know, how did you get started with successfully launching a book? Especially for people that, maybe they're not good at marketing, don't have a list, haven't launched something like this before. Yeah.
Well, the good news is you don't have to have a big audience to successfully launch a book. And so when I launched my first book, I was 19 years old, didn't have an audience. I was writing about personal life experiences, right? And I think a lot of people, maybe there's these limiting beliefs about who am I to write a book?
Yeah,
And,
we all
and
have
so
yeah.
and it feels like, oh, I'm not Tony Robbins, I'm not Oprah, I'm not, but a lot of times the best books are from someone who's 2 steps ahead of us, and they can
Right.
teach us exactly what they did. And so I think that in itself is helpful, both from the confidence to write the book, but then also in marketing the book, because you don't have to have an audience. And what I recommend is I call it the launch triangle. So there's kind of 3 parts in this launch triangle. There's creating a launch team, there's getting reviews, and there's doing promotions. So the most important thing is a launch team. If you do nothing else to launch the book, just do that. So a launch team, it's a small group of people that support you and your book. Right? So
Yeah.
it could be 15 people, it could be 50 people, but what they'll do is they'll read the book ahead of time and leave a review on day 1. So now all of a sudden you're launching with 50 reviews right out of the gates. And so you're kind of going 2 birds, 1 stone there, launch team, reviews, and then promotions. It's doing some targeted promotion around the launch of your book.
I love it. So how many reviews do you have to get to be either an Amazon bestseller or New York Times bestseller?
Yeah, so some of these rankings are review based, and some are sales based. And it depends on if you're looking at search rankings or if you're looking at bestseller list rankings. And so the bestseller list on Amazon is based on total books. All bestseller lists are roughly based on units of the book sold within a period of time, right?
Okay.
So for the New York Times list, is about 10 to 12,000 books sold in week 1.
Wow.
Now that's a lot of books.
Amazon you did that at 19?
I didn't. No, I did not do. I did not do it at New York Times bestseller list. We sold a lot of copies of that book.
But you wrote a book at 19. I mean, that's so amazing to me.
Yeah. It's certainly not something that I thought I would do. I never thought I would write a book, much less do that at that young age. I was somebody who didn't like reading books and didn't like writing. And a C-level English student and a college dropout with ADHD. So kind of not writing and reading was not my thing. But I mean, maybe it's similar to people listening to this, is feeling like, hey, I've got something that's valuable that I can share and that I want to share and that I think will be helpful for people. And so that's kind of how I felt. And so I said, okay, the mechanism is the book, but the message is a whole lot bigger than the mechanism. But I just so happen to believe that the mechanism is one of the best ways to get that message out there. So I got to figure out how to write this book. It's kind of how I looked at it with the first couple books.
Well, I'm in a similar situation. When I wrote my book, I was like, I'm not a good student. I was never a good student. I definitely have dyslexia, and it was never really diagnosed, and ADHD, totally not diagnosed. But I just think if you have a passion, like the way you lead with your passion about a message that you want to share, and you're leading with generosity like that, that's such a great way to go about things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is your parting advice for people who want to write a book? Where can they go to find out more about all the great things you're up to in the world, Chandler Bolt?
Yeah, so my parting piece of advice would be, there's never going to be a perfect time to write this book. You're going to have to get started before you're ready. And I think a lot of people writing a book, it's on the maybe next year list. It's on the maybe someday list. And they just keep kicking the can down the road, and you're going to have to get started before you're ready. I think the best next step, if you're looking to get started, is to grab a copy of my new book. It's called Publish: The Proven Path from Blank Page to 10,000 Copies Sold. You can get it on Amazon. If you're listening to this podcast, so you probably like audio, you can download the book on Audible. I narrate that. And so it's kind of a fun experience. And then lastly, I'd love to give away 50 free physical copies of the book to this audience. So this is if you're interested in getting a free copy, go to Published Book. So that's published, like I published a book. So publishedbook.com/Lisa. And so that's publishedbook.com/Lisa. Go there. Yeah, literally, there's no shipping and handling. There's no catch. There's no nothing. You just tell me where to ship it. The first 50 people. So they're probably going to go fast. But all you have to do is just fill out the form. I'll print it, pack it, ship it. We'll ship you a copy of the book. And then when you fill out that form, after you fill out the form on the thank you page, there will be an opportunity if you say, hey, I'd love to talk with Chandler's team about like working with self-publishing school and getting our help with your book. You can book a call right there. We'd be happy to help you.
Chandler Bolt, that is so awesome. You guys, I hope if you have a book in your heart somewhere in your mind that you think can help you crush it in this new normal of business, that you will reach out to Chandler, get your copy of the book. I know I certainly will. Thanks for being a great guest, Chandler Bolt.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming to WholeCEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.